He has worked on many assignments with the national and international players, MNCs, research organizations such as ICRISAT, government departments, commodity boards, corporates such as ITZ, Bureau of Switzerland, ETG of India and Dubai, Frito-Lays and more. He recently handled a consultancy assignment involving that involved developing a roadmap for agriculture marketing systems in Karnataka in association with IIM Bangalore. For conduct, which was basically on a baseline study for vegetable initiatives for urban cluster under RKVY project, and he is also now working on cashew supply chain in India and Africa for Hotel's weekly publication Cashew Week. So it's our pleasure to have Mr. Manish Singh here with us. Sir.
Thank you, John, for that nice introduction. And before I start my presentation, I would like to thank ICRISAT and ABI and the whole initiative and congratulate them for completing this 10 years. I have been looking at the deliberations since yesterday, and there's a lot of intelligent thought flow that has gone into these interactions, and definitely with the presentations that we have had, we are going to have a very good, base for developing some new ideas. With my background, I'm going to share the experiences that we have had in organizing fruits and vegetable marketing. Maybe the presentation is a bit focused, and in the sense that I'm not very sure whether it actually appeals to the entrepreneurs who are actually going to be into this fruit and vegetable business, because what we have done is that we have worked more with the clients who have actually had farmers or farmer groups as their main focus areas. So even like ICRISAT, if we have worked with them, it was basically for the farmers. In the fruits and vegetable sector also we have worked with the farmers. So definitely I would like to bring about these project experiences, and then try to link it up with the requirements of this forum. Let me just tell you a little bit about our company. Portal Business Solution, with the brand name commodityindia.com, is a private limited company headquartered at Bangalore, purely into agribusiness and commodity related research. Since 1996 we have been in this business, and as we have done over 40 projects, and we have been associated with leading corporates. Some of the names John had already told, and we have been working with these institutional as well as corporates. So we have a diverse kind of experience in terms of the corporate requirements and the institutional requirements. If I specifically talk about our experience in consulting for fruits and vegetable marketing, we have worked with UP Mandi Parishad, the UP government, the NABARD, KHF, that is Karnataka Horticulture Federation, and the VIUC is basically Vegetable Initiative for Urban Cluster Project under RKVY for the Department of Horticulture, Government of Karnataka. CHD is a new concept, a new project that the Government of Karnataka has again launched in the last year. It's called Comprehensive Horticulture Development. So I'm going to talk about these, and definitely corporates we have worked with some of the corporates who procure large quantities of potatoes in terms of designing their supply chains and contract farming, and of course with National Horticulture Board. This presentation I have tried to as I said, try to match the experience in fruits and vegetable marketing for the farmers or farmer groups to the the new startups. So basically it has 4 to 5 sections, and basically first I'm going to talk about key important areas which have to be focused before you enter into a fruit and vegetable marketing venture. So these include focusing on meeting the market demand and assortment. It includes talking about the supply chains, understanding the supply chain, and as as an emerging trend today, you cannot do fruits and vegetable cultivation to marketing you cannot operate without a proper information flow. And definitely after that I'm going to summarize with some of the ideas, like which are which would be definitely trends, as Dr. Majumdar was talking about, some of the trends specifically in the areas of fruits and vegetable, what new ventures should do. And a little bit I'm going to talk about financing, which I thought would be relevant for the forum. So coming to the first part, meeting the market demand and assortment requirements. Now what is this actually? Now fruits and vegetables are commodities which we consume on an everyday basis. But as we were discussing in the morning session, it is important to know what the consumer requires, how much the consumer requires, and plan your supplies according to that. So definitely new ventures, if they are entering into fruits and vegetable business, they should understand, for a city like Hyderabad or for a city like Bangalore, what is the local requirement. So we have done some work on this. I'd just like to take you through some data. Maybe it's not important to look at the data, but some of the insights from this. If you see, like if you look at Bangalore, what was our finding? If you look at Bangalore, on an average, out of the total vegetables consumed, that means around 2,000 tons of vegetables are consumed on a daily basis in Bangalore. And out of the total vegetables consumed, 15% is tomato, 14% is onion, 8% is leafy vegetable, 7% is potato. I mean, these are all estimations, and numbers will be like around that. They will differ according to season, they will differ according to but broadly this is what is going to be the consumption pattern. Now looking into this, one can plan the supplies. I'm just trying to indicate that a similar kind of an analysis must be done for your area, for your region, before you actually jump into this. We have done a second level of analysis where we have tried to not only look at demand but also look at how the supplies are being done. Now this analysis, if you look at this, if you have a set of vegetables, and you have some kind of a production, and then you have a particular region, the whole region has a production and the whole region has a demand. Now you can then have a mapping based on which products are actually locally produced and demanded, which products are not locally produced and demanded, which products are excessively produced. You have all these three things indicated in three different colors. So this is the kind of analysis that is needed to identify particular fruits and vegetables that would be suitable for a region. Now if you look at this analysis done for Bangalore, you can see that the total annual demand is actually around 12,400, and the production is only 2,400 tons. Therefore there is a lot of demand for garlic in Bangalore alone. Now that means the ones which are indicated on the top are the vegetables where there is an opportunity. So this is how one can look at the vegetables or fruits which have the opportunity. Similarly, like we went ahead and then we tried to advise farmers as to what kind of products they should take. So based on that, see, on one more problem with one more important consideration that has to be taken with fruits and vegetables is that they are seasonal in nature. Their production is mostly seasonal, their demand is mostly throughout the year. Now if you consider any city or any area, if the fruits and vegetables are actually being supplied, what will happen typically, during certain period they will be locally supplied, and during certain periods they will be supplied from other regions. Now is there an opportunity to find out whether you can serve other regions, because there will be shortage in certain regions which are around your region during that particular period when there is a production in your region, whereas there could be possibility that there is a demand in your region when the production is not happening there. So that kind of analysis also goes into deciding this thing. Now what we have done for the comprehensive horticulture development program, I'm just trying to bring it out here. The whole of Karnataka can be divided. Now this kind of a similar analysis can be done for any state or any of your regions, but whole of Karnataka has been divided into according to 8 major markets. So you have like, in the north, certain districts which are, because see, every fruit and vegetable marketing has to concentrate on major cities because they are the major consumers. Major consumers are based out of there. Because if you have to market fruits and vegetable, it has to come to a city. Except the local consumption, what happens, at the farmer's field or, in local through so the local hearts and something that's it. Now, if you look at this, you have identified around 8 major markets in Karnataka. You have Bangalore, Mysore, you have Mangalore at number 3, Davangere, Bellary, like that you have 8 centers. Now, out of these 8 centers, for each of these, what we have done is that we have tried to do a supply-demand analysis and identify the similar kind of a supply-demand analysis which I was actually, indicating earlier, and we have identified which are the deficit crops. So what should be grown where? And based on that, we have advised farmers as to what exactly they should grow when. So for example, if you look at Bangalore and surrounding areas including Chikbalapur, Kolar and Ramnagar, you have an opportunity to grow Kharif and late Kharif onion during, these seasons. Whereas, you have other brinjal, green chili and other opportunities. And along with these opportunities, you should also look at the new markets. So this was the first part. Now I'm going to now talk a little bit about supply chain, because any thing to do with fruits and vegetables has to definitely look at supply chains, because that's the most critical area. Now we say that we normally say that the supply chain is very complicated because you have 2-3 layers of intermediaries and all that. But we have tried to study and find out what our finding was, that this supply chain actually gets organized in the market by itself. It gets organized in such a way that the most efficient supply chain emerges out of it. Now if you look at this diagram, there are so many intermediaries, and the flow is rather complicated. But then what happens in reality is actually very simple. I'll go to the next slide, then I'll come back. What happens in reality is something different. Now if I look at this, there are 4 major chains. This is what we did, we identified in case of Bangalore, and this will be typical condition anywhere, even if in Hyderabad, I would say that these numbers are not going to be different. If you look at these 4 chains, you have the longest chain is the chain number 1. You would find that, the longest chain indicated by the pie diagram is only 5%, and there the farmer realizes the lowest. The second chain is like, he sells at a local market, is another 36%, and there his realizations are slightly better. Whereas the major chain, where he comes to the city, he sells it, and then he realizes about 47% in the chain is actually constituting 52% of the chain. Therefore, if you look at chain number 2 and 3, they are constituting the major part, and they are the chains which are really profitable. The chain number 4 is far more profitable because it involves a retailer, an institutional retailer like Reliance or somebody. Now in that case, what happens is that the chain is profitable for the farmer. This is what we have seen in other studies also. The chain is profitable for the farmer, but the amount of offtake is very low. Hardly 8% of the farmers were able to, 8% of the total produce was able to move through this channel. So this is what one has to understand. Because if you are going to sell through particular channels, the realizations are going to be different, and one has to look into the different different things that shape that make you sell in that channel. For example, a farmer who has a small surplus, he will not be able to sell go to the afford and go to the main city and incur a lot of cost and sell to that channel. But if it is a large farmer, he is able to do that, and that's where we talk about consolidation. We talk about taking the produce of several farmers together and aggregating them and then marketing it at appropriate platforms. So look at this only, the banana, simple different types of banana, how the prices are actually changing. Start from 17 rupees and that goes up to 36 rupees at the retail level. So these are the numbers which will help us to decide whether to sell at how profitable is it to sell at village level or at the retail. Of course, it is definitely profitable, most profitable to sell at the retail level, but yes, reaching the consumer directly is not that easy. So definitely I'll be talking about some of the direct retailing models also, maybe once this. Yeah, this is one of the direct retailing models that has emerged very well in Andhra Pradesh. So I thought it relevant to put this data over here. If you look at this data, this is I'm talking about Rythu Bazars, which are, I think you would find it in your neighborhood. I think it's a very, very good initiative done by the government of Andhra Pradesh, and where the land has been given for the farmers, or some area within the city has been given to the farmers to basically come and sell. Now, of course, we will not go into it whether farmers are there or not. They have systems to ensure that it is the farmers who actually come and market the produce. That's how it is. And if you look at this analysis, the LMR indicates the prices at the local market. That means at basic retail level, and RBR is the Rythu Bazar rate. The AMC is the wholesale market rates. And if you look at this analysis, you see that the farmer basically is benefited, as well as consumer is also benefited. So in case of brinjal, for example, 17% is the benefit that goes to the farmers, and 22% goes to the consumers. And this 42% was actually being cornered by the middlemen. This is how basically most of the direct marketing initiatives are having a real advantage, and this is precisely the reason why retailers, the organized retailers, they prefer to buy from the farmers directly. So there are opportunities, of course, in aggregating, but then a direct model is going to be most efficient, because intermediaries are definitely there to corner the benefits. Now, one more analysis which I found useful was this is actually taken from Spencer's. If you look at this, the organized retailers are basically, as they are doing direct procurement, they are able to give a benefit to the consumer by 6%, and reduce some of the wastage, whereas they are able to also cut down on the commission costs and on the various transportation losses and other things, and finally able to give a better deal to the farmer as well as the consumer. This we have also validated with our own data, in terms of talking to the farmers as when they sell to the retailers, whether they get benefited or not. Now though in absolute price terms they get benefited, but then what happens is that when a farmer is supplying to a retailer on a long-term basis, there is one thing which is a problem area for the farmer, and that is the quality, because the quality requirements of a retailer are quite stringent, and he is going to reject the kind of qualities which are not acceptable. Now, this is the kind of problem that was being faced little some time back. But of course, retailers have come together. They have come with the farmers, and they have tried to solve this problem in 2-3 different ways. One of these things is that you just provide a market, an alternate market for the produce which is not accepted to be sold at large retails. And the other thing is that you can also teach the farmer, see, over a long period of time, if he's a regular supplier, you can tell him about the requirements of what exactly is the requirement, and then develop the farmers. And there also the scientists can also play a role. I'll just give you a very, very interesting example. Now, when we did this project, we talked to Reliance, just like that we talked to Reliance in terms of what is their requirement and all that. Now, they said, farmers in Karnataka or in the procurement regions where we are procuring, they grow ridge gourds and snake gourds. Now, these vegetables are actually very long in terms of their length. They are very, because they harvest it, and the varieties that they grow, they are very long. That is preferred by the local market. That's why they grow this. But Reliance had a problem in terms of these ridge gourds were very difficult to transport. These snake gourds particularly, they were very difficult to transport because that would not fit into their crate size. So therefore, they asked us whether, this information can be passed on, and that was a really big, good insight for us. So farmers who are constantly in touch with Reliance, they give them the training that don't go for these varieties, go for these varieties which are actually, of short this thing. You might get a little lesser in terms of the price and other things in the local market, but we have this price. So that's how, the interaction between the farmers and the retailers takes place, and that grows into a very good economic relationship over a period of time. I come to the third part. See, today what is most critical if any agribusiness venture has to come up in the area of fruits and vegetable or anything, the information is the key to success. Now, the kind of marketing that, again I was trying to project some numbers that 2,000 tons, and out of that 15% is tomato and other things. But what happens is that over a period of time, this demand, it differs from time to time. It is not that it is going to be 15% all the days and all the time. It is going to differ from time to time. There could be some festivals, there could be some a different kind of even the temperature. For example, watermelon demand in Bangalore is completely dependent on the temperature. The prices are totally correlated with the kind of temperature that is there, because if it gets little cooler, people stop eating watermelon. So if there can be some models to be developed and then communicated to the farmers in terms of what exactly is a farmer or any agri entrepreneur as to what is demanded by this thing. So we identified some of the needs. Now if you look at these, what a farmer wants to know, he wants to know the storage, where can he store his produce in general, not particularly for horticulture, but in general. He wants to know what is the requirement of the processors. Some kind of alerts. It could be weather related, it could be price related, or it could be some feedback from the North Indian markets or something on that one. What are the current prices? Who are the buyers? How he can transport his produce and all these things. And of course the technical information. So what we are also trying to do is that we are trying to develop a SMS based platform where this kind of information is readily available to the farmers. There is already a price information available from the Department of Agriculture, like Department, the Karnataka State Agriculture Marketing Board. But that information may not be sufficient. You need information on buyers. So we are trying to develop a SMS based platform, and I think that is going to work in a good way. And there are a lot of companies which have actually now come up with these kind of solutions for the farmers, and it is working in a good way, because these are the information needs of the farmers which people have realized. So this is what we have observed in the Hopcom's experience. You see, you have to produce at the right time. As I said, you have to produce watermelons when it is required by the market, and that will be required when there is an expected jump in temperature, or some kind of an indication they get from the market, because the guys who are sitting at the market, they know that this kind of thing is going to happen. You have to produce according to the quality demanded, the quantity demanded, and definitely you can make the best of the opportunity, and you are able to reach markets that were not accessible earlier. There are other examples also. You have the precision farming example in Tamil Nadu and others which have replicated this. Now, what are the information needs for the buyers? Now, this is also important for the agri entrepreneurs, because we need to know what are the what exactly the buyers would be needing, and then you can shape your own entrepreneurship according to that. Now, like you see, we need information on guide to negotiations, like how basically you can integrate with the farmers, because it's not that there are certain formats. When we talk about contract farming and other things, there are certain formats, and you have to adhere to those things, and it is important that such information may be available. The harvest information, when farmers are organized into clusters, when are they going to harvest what, and that reverse flow of information, because when are they going to harvest what should be available, this information should be available to the buyers, the cluster details and the alerts, any kind of alerts, if there's going to be an organizing some kind of a exhibition or anything, that kind of information should be available, and of course the quality requirements, that's important. Now some of the ideas I thought that to summarize, and then some takeaways for this thing. One opportunity that I would like to put to the which I think is the need for tomorrow. You have seen the kind of prices that have fluctuated in onion. We have been talking about onion for at least I think 6 months down the line, that suddenly onion prices have gone up, and now we are talking about a glut in onion situation, because many farmers took onion, and now we expect a price crash. Basically there is definitely a huge fluctuation in prices, and I'm talking about domestic demand for dehydrated onions, and this could be an opportunity, because corporates in this business are actually focusing on exports, and they are working on thin margins. We have some data based on which we know that they are not earning more than 10 rupees or so per kg of onion exported. So basically, but they are definitely sustaining this business, because this is on a long term, on a volume basis, it's a good business. And technologies based on solar drying give low cost drying at a time when there is a cheap raw material availability. See, if you look at the onion supply, most of the onion which can be also processed, and definitely there are some varietal constraints. You have to go for different varieties. I think you have to those onions are actually available from the Rabi crop and during peak summer. So basically, if you get the onions during March, April at a cheaper rate, you have a very good opportunity to basically utilize the sun drying technologies and go for such dehydration thing. But the issue is that marketing in India is tough, because you don't have an acceptance to Indian taste, and this is where we need to probably create awareness, or probably we are not very sure of where this demand is going to come from. Some test or some kind of a market research should be conducted to find out whether this kind of demand, because definitely there is a definite price advantage. And in terms of product, if you see, the product is very simple. Most of the onion that we use at homes, except what we use in salad, we use it as an ingredient to the various dishes. So definitely, if you can just test market it out, whether it is acceptable to the Indian cooking style, may not be in all the dishes, maybe in few dishes, and try to see whether there is a market for this, because there is definitely a good cost advantage. And therefore there is a need to create generic promotion and encourage usage of dehydrated onions. Probably we can think about institutions such as ICRISAT also having, or maybe this network having some kind of a role to play in this. As I think these all points have been touched in the previous presentation by Dr. Mazumdar. We are talking about various in his presentation he talked about various trends that are going to shape the business of tomorrow. Now it is important to look at these trends in different countries, abroad, US and other countries, what he has pointed out. But specifically if you look at India, we know that marketing of organic food is a big challenge. I'm talking about organic and fair trade opportunities. But yes, there are certain suggestions. See, and these suggestions are based on how organic stuff has been marketed in the West. See, we have to identify the requirements and taste of the core consumer group and design your product and marketing as per their taste and desire. This is the lesson which we have been talking about since yesterday. See, for example, if somebody has to buy organic produce, he is not going to buy it in the kind of a traditional outlets or the kind of space where these products are being marketed. So we need to have a separate kind of a space, maybe the experts are there, namdharis are there, and they are there. They have tried to create that kind of an ambience where specialized customers who want to go for, or you can look at other channels like home delivery or other channels. You have to find out what exactly, or maybe e-marketing could be a channel for marketing exclusively these organic food products. When we pitch in with a organic product, we must have an emotionally strong appeal or a story to back it up. For example, we need to have something like the equity standard that this is being produced by tribals in an area where we have there is some kind of social needs also being met by that, and that story could be appealing to market your organic produce. Focus on the young generation, as sir was pointing out in the earlier presentation, the demographic transition. We have about 50% of the India's population is actually very young, and it's going to be young for a long time. Next 10-15 years they will be, of course, under the age of 40 years. So that segment is, and today a lot of FMCG companies are designing their strategies with this in mind. So one has to look at this aspect also. There are opportunities in the supply chain also. For example, can we intervene in the supply chain beyond processing, like processing, as I suggested, this onion. There are opportunities in the supply chain, for example, making available off-season fruits and vegetables. Simply, like storing apples, getting it from Kashmir or and storing them and then investing in that and then marketing. There are very clear-cut documented evidences that if you do this, you are going to get good margins. There is definitely a business risk in this one. And supply partnership for retailers. This is also an area, but here one has to have a very good working capital thing. The last slide I would be talking little bit about, I tried to talk about some of the marketing aspects, but of course along with marketing, financing is also an important area. See, if you talk about venture capital, basically it's difficult to attract venture capital in this sector because business models surrounding F&B marketing and other stuff, they have got a risk and they lack novelty and scalability factors. Basically because there's nothing very interesting in this, and it's not a very new concept. It's a very generic concept, and the scalability is limited because you are handling large volumes of perishable product. So therefore, venture capital is a little constrained. SIDBI is a good source of debt capital with about 70% of the project finance up 1 crore. Current interest rates are in the range of 12 to 14%. But of course, there are a few VCs ready to finance F&B ventures. But the interests are different. They are looking for products which are targeted towards Western markets. So if some people have these products, we can actually put you across to such VCs, which basically fund products which are specifically targeted to this Europe and America. But there should be some kind of some kind of a backup behind it, in the sense that there should be a traceability, and something like we tried in honey, for example. In honey we tried where the tribals basically are getting benefited, and that story is getting communicated to the US to develop that product. So that's how we are trying to thank you for your patient listening.
Well, you have not talked about the urban vegetables and fruits in the urban areas.
You mean the rooftop gardening and the...
That's right.
I think we discussed about that in the last. You had this question to sir, no?
That's right.
Yeah. You want something more on that?
You said you have some experience on that.
No.
In your slide you said one item, urban...
No, not like that. See, our experience is something different. Our experience is in terms of understanding the urban demand. Okay, to what extent that demand can be met by, if you're specifically talking about this vegetable growing or vegetable gardening on, the urban horticulture, what we call. See, there are projections that, up to 25% of the total requirement of the particular city like Mumbai or Bangalore can be met by doing this kind of agriculture in on the this thing.
Horticulture.
Yes, but see, in the current status, there are a lot of constraints, and it is in a very developing stage. So, see, one very simple thing is, see, today we don't have water in the cities. As I was, telling some people here that, even in areas surrounding Bangalore, you need to buy water for irrigation purposes. So that is something like which is happening, which I am seeing. Now, if you are going to talk about cultivating within the city, you have to see how you are going to meet this kind of a water requirement. This is just one case. There will be a lot of other things, labor and therefore it will have its limitations. Though projections are there that 25% of a requirement can be met, but I don't see that more than 5 to 10% of the total city's requirement could be met through, in the current situation, through the urban horticulture.
Sir, I have one question.
Please.
The farming becoming very difficult. Now all input costs have been increasing, labor cost increasing, fertilizers, seeds,
Yes.
but the end output, the farmer what is producing is not increasing. There are chances of distress sales happening certain times. Tomatoes being thrown away and bananas
Yeah,
being...
I know, sir, but...
what is why this is happening in India? Why the people should shift from agriculture?
No. See, I'll tell you one thing. With whatever limited experience
No, my
we have...
question is not complete.
What
See,
is the
there are a lot of middlemen are getting benefited out of agriculture. They are getting, sorry to say, a barber is better than a farmer. He can demand, barber can demand, but farmer cannot demand. Because myself, I have cultivated 5 acres of banana at Pulivendula.
Yes, sir.
See, the prices are so dictated, and it's better not to cultivate, I decided. This is the kind of situation happening in India. So, what is your observation and what is the...
Yeah, I'll come to you. Yeah. I'll answer your question. See, it is a sorry state of affairs that the market is being dominated. As I showed in the previous slide, the total realizations, out of that 50% is going to the more than 50%. The farmer, if you take the average condition, the farmer is able to realize slightly around 35 to 40% of the total price of the produce, and around another 60% is actually going towards the middleman and towards the retailer and towards other agents. And that is the reality. But in this condition, what suggestions have been developed? See, because we are also trying to aggregate the farmers and work with them. See, there are two things that are going to emerge. One is this retailer model, where a farmer directly sells to a retailer, which may be profitable, because see, since the current conditions are being dominated by the traditional, the market, and then you have the brokers and all these people who basically manipulate the market and give you a lower price, whereas they might be getting a better price at the end of the day. And there is a counter view also. See, it might be that in one of the crops, maybe banana, or maybe in the same crop, at one incidence you might have faced a loss. But on an average, if you see, like for example, I'll give you you have talked about Kolar tomatoes. See, Kolar farmers, I have interacted with them numerous times. Why are they taking tomatoes again and again? If we are going there and advising them that please don't take tomato, still they are taking tomato. Why? Because once in 5 times, they are going to get this kind of a loss, but 4 times they are going to get profit. I have done a detailed analysis of cost and returns of tomatoes in Kolar. Though my results are like some 3 years old, what my finding was that it takes 2 rupees a kilo to produce tomato, and the minimum that a farmer gets is about 5 rupees. You don't get that kind of profit in any venture. So minimum is going to get 5 rupees. If he is going to get 10 rupees,
Doing agriculture, staying idle is better than not doing agriculture. That's what, see, they are facing a lot of vagaries of nature is there. Diversification is needed, need of our.
no, you are right. See, diversification is needed, and at the same time, marketing in a proper channel is needed.
You say marketing, I can say n number of reasons where marketing goes wrong. I can say, If you go to retail outlets like Alliance or Spencer, all those things,
Yes.
they, without kickbacks, they will not take your material. Where the farmer will take the material. It's a very sad to say, without kickbacks, the managers, the general managers, so-called, sitting at the top level, I don't know how the government is formulating these strategies and what is the government is doing.
No,
With
I
these
think-
retail outlets, there made markets committees are there, but no one is working.
That's what our experience.
I think I'd like to intervene here.
Sir.
I think some of these things can be documented and we can come up
Some
with
data, yes,
some
some
solutions and strategies as part of
I think
this.
that's important.
Yeah, so I think we will note this down, whatever you have raised the issue, and we'll see how we can
Yeah, and
come up with a strategy to
yeah,
address this.
I'll also send you some data on, like, what is the cost and benefit analysis for specifically for bananas.
Mr. Manish, first of all, I'd like to congratulate you on this presentation. And it was a presentation with a lot of practical information in place. What I want to know is, do you have any information on the wastages, which in terms of fruits and vegetables? Because there are a lot of numbers floating around.
I know, sir.
So do you have some numbers, especially from the studies which you have carried out?
Sir, I'll like to answer to this question. See, the numbers what I have, I can send it across to you. I have numbers for each and every vegetable as to what is being wasted at which level. But these numbers are were actually calculated. I mean, they were taken from the feedback from the market participants. They are not validated numbers, because somebody has to actually see to it that that much loss or that much thing is happening. But we have talked to a large sample, and based on that we have some numbers. I can share it with you. Approximately, it varies according to different commodities. Approximately, I think the wastages are in the range of 20 to 30%, not 40% or something, as said by various reports. They are in the range of 20 to 30%, but again, this has to be validated. I have the data, I can share with you.
Also, do you see that when the retailers are actually linking to the farmers, are the wastages coming down?
Wastages at the store level are higher. Wastages at the farmer level are coming down. Wastages at the store level are higher for the retailers, because retailers are not efficient to, or they are not equipped to manage the retail level wastages. So the overall wastages may not come down because of these kind of problem. But of course, the farm level wastages, I mean farm to the retail shelf level wastages are coming down, but the retail level itself, the shrink is more than 6-7% in case of fruits and vegetables for large.
I think that's an interesting observation, because in that case the farmer is actually not losing out.
Farmer is not losing out, but it is the the retailers. So retailers are also trying out various models, because sometimes they are not able to manage the fruit and vegetable category. They try to also have a outsourced model where they integrate with some person or some wholesaler who is in this business and who knows how to control wastages, who knows the tricks of the trade. So that model is also being tried out.
Thank you.
Thanks for the presentation. We got a couple of questions from our BPD partners. From JNKVB, we have why the organic products have not been able to make it to the listings of commodity futures and spot markets.
Okay.
That's it.
This
That's the
is the
question.
question.
Yeah.
Like, see, I think we don't have the representative from NCDX.
Yeah, we had that session in the morning. Yeah.
Actually, this is a question for him. But as far as my understanding goes, as I think you had a question in the morning, and the same answer, the same answer to that question is this thing. See, there is, I think, a very clear cut. We should understand that commodity futures marketing is of very standard products. So if you are talking about, like, cotton, it will not be cotton. It will be, there is a document called product description document, where they are going to tell you what cotton it is, how much that length of that something staple length or something, that should be this much, or and in that seed should not be there, this should not be there, it should be white, it should be this, there will be 1 or 2 pages of description of that commodity, and it should be a standard commodity. Now the problem with fruits and vegetables is that it is very difficult to quantify or to measure or to specify a particular commodity. Of course, now if you look at the other countries also, you don't have horticultural commodities being traded. Of course, potato was there. I don't know whether today potato is there or not, but potato was being traded in India. But organic itself is a very small category basically. Out of the main fruits and vegetable category, the organic category is a very small category. I don't think the commodity futures would have sufficient volumes to basically start trading or building any volumes on that one. So I don't think so that is feasible.
Okay, the next is from Siba with the VPD on brackish water aquaculture. They ask the normal time taken for the organic farm products is more comparing to normal farms. So farmers are not interested in India to adopt. So the export market is affected at what percentage? Essentially they want to know how much of percentage is lost because of not going in for organic farm products.
The question is not very clear.
And they're like asking how much is the percentage of loss that is there in the export market from our country if they're gone for organic farm products. What is the loss that they're looking at?
No, I'm not very clear with the question.
Let me just rephrase it again.
Clarify the question.
Just let me rephrase it again. The time taken, what's the potential that they're missing out? What's the
organic market for exports? That's what they're...
No, see, I don't have the numbers. Maybe sir would be having the numbers. I really don't have the numbers, but some observations what we have is that it is difficult to to market organic produce out of India, especially to UK and other countries, because there is a big traceability issue, and there are a lot of norms which have to be adhered to. So that export market is completely whatever I have talked about is more of a local understanding. So export markets, I don't think that should be.
If you try to add to that, I think if you look at the organic segment, the certification bodies are mostly international aggregated bodies.
Yes.
So whoever does that actually does that keeping in mind the international market. So I think anybody who is able to meet those international regulations and standards, the potential is definitely there. So the challenge which you have pointed out is meeting those standards and regulations.
Yeah. With the kind of conditions, with the kind of agronomical conditions and the kind of farming that we do, basically we don't have, if it is being done under greenhouses and other things, it is easy to meet those standards. But the kind of effluents and other things that I know a couple of agencies, but I don't know why we are talking about exports, but there are a couple of agencies around Bangalore, like the Jaivik Society and others. They are doing very good business in organic in Bangalore itself, and they have exclusive outlet for organic vegetables, and they are doing good business. Though Namdhari doesn't call its produce as organic, yet it has it is something. In the niche segment, they are able to do a very good business and generate good volumes. They are expanded number of outlets in the last couple of years.
We got 2 more questions for you. One from IVRA. They ask, direct selling to consumers are not possible for the farmers of remote area. What model can be adopted for profit maximization of farmer?
Yeah, you're right. See, actually direct farming models have to be mediated through some institution, then only it is possible. Because see, this kind of experiments were tried in Delhi also, where farmers from different areas used to come, and there is some common place where they were given and they were given some space. Interestingly, what was the difference in this model was that the farmers don't know how to do marketing. That's the reality. Now to solve this, they were also given some kind of a manpower support. If you pay somebody as your seller, you are going to. But of course, villages which are located far away from the cities, it is not possible for the farmers to come and sell without this kind of a platform. And even if such platforms exist, it is difficult for farmers, because I think even in Hyderabad, even if Rythu Bazar is there, farmers from very far off may not be able to come. But that is where, you have to identify the locations for vegetable cultivation which are near to urban centers. That was my first point. And you cannot have vegetable cultivation like, in 100 or 200 kilometers away from the consumption center. You better, I would suggest that you change the cropping and maybe go for some other venture which does not require immediate, transfer to the selling place.
Okay. And final question, if there's no other question from the floor here, okay. Final question as a follow-up to we were talking about the model and to whatever you have seen over the past 2 days in terms of incubation that we are doing here, in terms of business incubators potential. What should be this is from IIHR, Indian Institute of Horticulture Research, Bangalore. The question is, what should be the focus area for incubators in the fruits and vegetable sector?
Yeah. This is what I wanted to summarize. Basically, it's good that this point has been raised. See, be it fruits or vegetables or, any other sector, one thing what I find, lacking in the whole scheme of things, from the last 2 days I have been hearing the deliberations. We have got really very good technology and, other inputs. And of course, you have given a lot of support to all the agri entrepreneurs. But what is lacking is probably the market research support, which basically the first step is that, the need for market research and understanding the market should be realized. And then, the follow-up, like, how it is to be done and how it is to be organized, that has to be thought of. But yes, it is important. I think a key takeaway of these sessions would be that, the need for a structured market research and a market analysis is needed, and we should think about it seriously. Even in the fruits and vegetables also, like, we need to focus on the local demand, and at a very very local level we need to do a research and find out the solutions. That's what I think they have been doing in, like, the Pune region. So it is very region specific. They are working only on Pune, and maybe, if it is to be done in Hyderabad, it is still a completely different ball game.
I would have ended with that, but we just got one more.
Please.
So one more, yeah. What mechanism should be adopted to manage glut or scarce production?
This
is from Odisha, from SIFA. Looking at Odisha condition recently, onion prices went up to 70 to 80 rupees, like in other parts of the countries also. Is there any role of minimum support price concept in fruits and vegetables?
Yeah. Specifically on the minimum support price, minimum support price is only for agricultural commodities announced by the central government. There is no concept of minimum support price by the central government in case of fruits and vegetable. But in case of Karnataka State Agriculture Marketing Board has a revolving fund through which, they are able to procure substantial quantities of these fruits and vegetables which are, like, in glut situation at prices which are slightly above the cost of cultivation. They have their own mechanisms to calculate what is the cost of cultivation, and they give, like, 5 to 10% profit, and based on that they purchase. But such mechanisms are to be evolved by the state governments, not like, the central government doesn't have a mandate. But I think rather than talking about, price support, we should talk about basically how to manage the situation rather than, looking at some kind of a support or subsidy from the government. I think the right approach would be to look for technologies like dehydration, or, you have got technologies to even store onions. I think that work. We have irradiation technologies, we have other technologies which will help you to store the onion. So basically that should be the approach, not the subsidy part of it, because we don't have actually. So thanks a lot.
Right, we hope you found the session informative. This is just a start of the new series of NIABI conference seminars, topics that we're going to have on KSIConnect. Let me take this opportunity to thank both our speakers for sparing time and giving us informative talk on two different aspects of marketing for agribusiness ventures. Let me also take this opportunity to thank all the BPD units who joined us. We have IARI, IVRI, CFT, CPCRI here. NAM also is here. Virtually we were connected with AU, SIBA, SIFA, CPRS, IHR, JNKVV, IVRI, CAAE, and CIAE, and there were a few others who actually logged in with their names, but we couldn't actually trace out who they were. But thanks to all of us, all of them for joining. Yeah, and my team also. Some of them joined to see us virtually from our office back in AIP. So thanks to everybody for joining online. Let me take this thank the KSI team of Upender, Venkat, Mandita and Venu for their technical assistance, and Jairam Reddy also for sparing his technical assistance also. Thank you very much. Thanks for everybody for participating, and see you all soon. Thank you. Call upon Dr. Saikat, sir, to give a memento to Mr. Manish. Thank you, Manish.